A city drowned in endless rain, a series of gruesome murders, and a killer who believes he's delivering divine justice. This is Seven, one of the most chilling psychological thrillers ever made. Directed by David Fincher, this masterpiece stars Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman as two detectives hunting down a serial killer who uses the 7 deadly sins as his blueprint for murder. But the real horror, the way this case ends, will haunt you forever. Stay with me as we unravel the disturbing and unforgettable story of Seven. Act 1. The beginning of a nightmare. The film opens in a bleak, unnamed city where Detective William Somerset, played by Morgan Freeman, a weary and methodical investigator on the verge of retirement, is assigned one final case. Enter Detective David Mills, played by Brad Pitt, a young, hot-headed officer recently transferred to the city with his wife, Tracy. Mills is eager to prove himself, but Somerset is skeptical about his ability to handle the brutality of this world. Their case begins with a horrifying crime scene. An obese man found dead in his filthy apartment, his hands and feet bound, face shoved into a bowl of spaghetti. The word, gluttony, is written in grease nearby. The coroner reveals that the victim was force-fed until his stomach burst, murdered in a way that symbolizes the first of the 7 deadly sins. This isn't just a murder. This is the work of a meticulous and deeply disturbed killer with a twisted agenda. Act 2. The sinful trail of death. Soon, another murder. A wealthy defense attorney is found dead in his office, forced to carve a pound of flesh from his own body. Written in blood on the floor, greed. The detectives now realize they are chasing a serial killer who is executing victims according to the 7 deadly sins. Somerset researches historical and religious texts on the 7 deadly sins, predicting that 5 more murders will follow. Meanwhile, Mills grows frustrated with Somerset's cautious, intellectual approach. The tension between the two detectives escalates as their methods clash. Then comes sloth. They discover a man who has been kept alive but tortured for an entire year, chained to his bed, emaciated, barely clinging to life. The scene is horrific. Realizing they need a lead, Somerset pulls some strings to access library records, tracking people who borrowed books on the 7 deadly sins. This leads them to a suspicious individual, and after a dramatic chase through dark, rain-soaked alleys, they find the apartment of a man they later learn is named John Doe. The place is filled with detailed journals, disturbing photographs, and meticulous planning of each murder. Act 3. The killer takes control. 2 more murders occur: Lust, where a prostitute is brutally killed with a custom-made weapon, and Pride, where a model is disfigured and given the choice to live mutilated or die. She chooses death. The detectives, exhausted and tormented by the case, are at a dead end. Then, something unthinkable happens. John Doe walks into the police station, covered in blood, and surrenders. "Detectives," he says, eerily calm, "I want to speak to you." Doe agrees to confess, but only if Mills and Somerset accompany him to an undisclosed location to witness the final 2 murders. With no other choice, they drive with the killer to a deserted area outside the city. Act 4. The shocking climax. A delivery van approaches. The driver hands Somerset a package and drives away. As Somerset cautiously opens the box, his face turns pale with horror. Meanwhile, John Doe taunts Mills, whispering that he envied Mills' happy life with his wife. Then the horrifying truth is revealed. The box contains Tracy's severed head. John Doe has executed envy. He envied Mills' life, and took it away from him. But there's still one sin left, which is wrath. Mills, now in complete shock and rage, points his gun at Doe. Somerset pleads with him to drop the weapon, warning him that's exactly what Doe wants. But Mills is broken. With tears in his eyes, he pulls the trigger, killing John Doe. And with that, the final sin is completed. Mills has become wrath. As the police take Mills away, Somerset watches in despair. His last words, "I'll be around." Even though he planned to retire, this case has changed him forever. Conclusion. The legacy of Seven. Seven is not just a murder mystery, it's a chilling look at human nature, morality, and the darkness within. The film's ending leaves us questioning, was Mills justified in killing Doe? Or did the killer win by turning him into the very sin he embodied? What do you think? Let me know in the comments.